What's happening, folks? Little technical difficulties on the power side over here. We got them fixed. First time in 3 years we didn't go off at 6 Mountain, but 616 Mountain, we'll take it. Welcome to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. Doc Talk is up next. Let's finally get this thing rolling. Welcome to another edition of the TPO Doc Talk podcast. We are live tonight here, folks. How in the heck has everybody been, man? The season's off and running now for just about all parts of the country now, it seems. Each year at the bass season, it starts off with, the South gets rolling, and while the rest of us are up here in the ice tundra dealing with still hard water and can't get out. Now I think everything's in full swing, though. Things seem to be cranking up. Bassmaster is just putting up just epic event after epic event. The All-American Kayak Series, we kicked off our first event, which was fantastic. Worked with the local club Moyak there. Lake of the Ozarks was off the wall. Eco Fishing Shop put on a great deal there with us. Of course, all the sponsors and support that came through on that was fantastic. Next up for the All-American is, of course, the Classic, the big one. Top 15 AOI from clubs all around the country. Primarily the Midwest. I think right now at last count, we had 8 or 9 states being represented going into this. So it's going to be an awesome, the highly coveted team series. That's the big one, right? The team thing. That's which state, is going to claim that. Last year, obviously it's home turf, right? For Moyak. So obviously people are, that's your safe money is going with Moyak. Plus, not to mention the fact that Moyak anglers have some pretty amazing anglers in there. And so that clearly has them with that home field. But man, those Arkansas boys came up from down south there and put a whooping on that deal there and snuck the title out. Got it away from them. So pretty awesome. And when you start thinking about the anglers you have competing from Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, Oklahoma, I mean, there's some serious hammers out there. And let's not forget the sleeping giant that I do believe if it's put together just right, Colorado is going to be sending in 3 different has 3 basically effective teams that they're going to be sending in there. So we saw one of our Colorado anglers get a top 3. I think he was 3rd or 4th, something like that last year. Matt Kern. So yeah, man, it's very possible. Plus, the guy we have joining us tonight, Mr. Matt Flanagan. I'm telling you what, folks, if you haven't heard Matt Flanagan's name yet out there, you need to if you like following kayak fishing, because this dude is a hammer. And he's not just a hammer here in the state of Colorado. He's a hammer anywhere he goes. He has gone off now to the Bassmaster down in Possum Kingdom, made a run there, come in 16th place. This is his, these are like first time for Matt going to these bodies of water. He went and fished the national championship, had like a 30 some odd place there. And the piece behind this too, that I think needs to be looked at, he's not doing this stuff with live scope and technology and these type of things. Flanagan is just a solid decision-making and fishing machine, just flat out. And that's what he does everywhere he goes. He's got the right attitude. He's got the right mindset, and he knows what he's doing. So he's getting great results out there. I go ahead and we'll see how this ages, but you ask me if this is something he sticks with on that national side, and he keeps putting time and effort, you're going to be hearing Flanagan's name amongst many other hammers out there very, very soon. He's definitely on a fast track for sure. He's with us. He's working out his camera issues and things like that. It looks like right now he's trying to put that stuff together. So we'll definitely get to that. One of the pieces that we've been talking about here, we've been doing these opinion little videos that we've been throwing out, and we're actually getting a ton of feedback from some of these. We had our first ever viral video go off. It was an opinion that we threw together about the James Watson MLF deal. That took off. We even got Mr. Worldwide himself to chime in very early on. And he thanked us for being and said we were spot on with our assumptions and ideas and how we had seen that issue there. And it's kind of a funny thing. We stopped chasing the views, right? We stopped chasing followers. We stopped chasing all that stuff in the fishing game because, quite frankly, it's just you do that and you lose sight of what it is that you started out to do. And we did this podcast for the sole purpose of bringing the mission, man, and talking fishing. And so we've stayed true to that, and we just throw together a couple little things and boom, that one took off. And so we're super stoked with that, super proud of that. So thankful for everybody that supports us on that. So yeah, that's been, we're going to keep going with a few of those as we've obviously seen that stuff's working. So we're going to stick with that and try to piece some of that together. Truman is next up, as we said, the classic. Keep in mind that is separate from the series with the All-American. It's different. It's that one is a Friday, Saturday gig. That one is the 5 fish each day, like everybody's used to. And there's a pile of money on the line. We get the right number of anglers show up there. You're talking about a $10,000 first place, $5,000 second, hourly big bass going to be given away. We've got the Global War on Terror Wall of Remembrance that's going to be on hand there at the event as well. Hey, what's happening, Buzz? Buzz, fellow Team New Canoe member there, stopping by, checking in on us here. Awesome. That means Florida's tuning into our little show here. Always awesome to see that. Yes, like I said, we'll have the Global War on Terror's Wall of Remembrance will be on hand with Roman's Warrior Foundation. That's super cool. So thankful for the greater area Clinton Chamber of Commerce. They worked their tail off to put that and get that together for us so that we could get the wall in there. So that was super awesome. Benson Convention Center. It'll be there Friday and Saturday. Looks like also Bucksaw Resort and Campground is definitely our official host there for that as well. And it looks like there's some sort of barbecue or something like that that's going to be going on, a get together that's going to be happening the Thursday night before, obviously, tournament day starts on Friday. So don't miss that. If you're looking for a place there, get a hold of Bucksaw and get taken care of over there. That's where we're going to be staying as well. So we'll get up there. Let's see here. We're having a few technical difficulties. No, the answer to your question, Matt, if you're watching me, the answer is no. We're having trouble getting a camera fired up here, but we'll kick him on here. Go ahead and connect back up and we'll see what we can do with it. So after that, the All-American Kayak Series, the next setup that goes on there is Okoboji, man. This is a bucket list location. If you've never been to Okoboji, Iowa, you want to get there to this one. That one's going to be super awesome. We're going to be working in conjunction with the large newly formed Iowa Kayak Club that's going to be on hand there. And we're going to be working that one. Lots of bodies of water that are in play with that. That should be set up. And so that one, Okoboji always ends up in the Bassmasters top lakes in the country. It's always there every year. So man, it's definitely worthwhile checking that one out and come up and join us at that. You will have a blast up there. And the payouts, man, we had 44 anglers entered the All-American at Lake of the Ozarks. And I want to say first place was paying out, $2,400, something like that. Second place was $1,100. We have great payouts here. There's not a lot of fees that are coming out, just the standard stuff, that's being taken out to cover the costs. And the money's coming back to the anglers, man. So we could put a field of 75 to 100 guys up in there. There's going to be a heck of an awesome payout that'll be taking place with that. So give it a check out. Attorney X, you can check it out. All right. Looks like he's here. The camera's looking good. Let's get this hammer into the stage. He's no stranger to being on the podcast here. Mr. Flanagan, how the heck are you, sir?
Doing good. What's up, bud?
Too much, man.
Good. Sorry I'm late. I was my regular computer wasn't working, so I don't have my headset that I'm usually using, so I'm going off my laptop. Hope it sounds okay.
Yeah, you sound great, man. You sound great.
Awesome.
And you don't have the Princess Leia thing.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Dude, so I don't know if you caught any of that. I was just talking about you. So I want to set the stage on this because there's some things standing out here. How many times have you been to Possum Kingdom?
One this time. Yep. 0 before this weekend.
How many times have you been to 10 Killer?
Just the once.
Right. Okay. What, if you don't mind me asking, what electronics, what are you running on your kayak right now?
I am running a Lowrance Hook 2 5-inch.
Yeah.
I think it runs about $350. It's about the most basic unit you can get besides a flasher.
Right. Yeah. Now, for you suckers out there in La La Land that have gone around claiming that you can't compete with the big guns unless you have $7,000 worth of gear on your hands, bull crap. Because this guy right here, what you do, Matt, there's no question about it. Your ability to break down water, find stuff that works for you, and make solid decisions, your attitude of never quitting, dude. You are swinging to the final bell. Brother, you are one impressive dude. And if you keep on this path of fishing these national events and keep trucking, just whatever you do, don't think that you're going to buy something that's going to help you catch fish, because you are the fish catcher, man. And brother, you got skills, man, because you are going out and you are doing some stuff that a bunch of people that are the same age as you, older, younger, can't even begin to understand, doing what, and you're doing it on a consistent level, man. That is some impressive stuff. And so kudos to you, man. Congratulations. That was some awesome stuff.
I really appreciate you saying that, dude. And I wish I knew what it was. Honestly, I'm not sure I do, other than just fishing my strengths, just going off my instincts, I guess. Just fishing what I know, finding a spot like what I did at Possum Kingdom. I didn't use my electronics, by the way. My junky little $300. I turned them on first thing in the morning just to get my bearings straight, since we launched in the dark, just so I could get pointed in the right direction for my cove. Once I got to my cove, I turned them off because I didn't want it pinging, and because I knew I was going to be fishing shallow. Didn't want it pinging at them and let them know I was there. So,
right,
yeah. I didn't even use them, but
it's less important what to figure out what it is, other than the fact of just keep doing, follow your routine, keep going the direction, because I personally think it's a series of smart decisions. You're not relying on something to tell you something. You are telling yourself things that is correct, and I mean, it's going to take, like I said, a lot of times those places you're going against locals that have been fishing that stuff, or you're going against these straight sharks that have been on the trail for several years, that have been to Possum Kingdom 3 or 4 times. They got history there, so, they always say don't fish history. Well, that's only partially true in my opinion, because when you eliminate water, that's good to not go back to that again, because where the carp beds are at compared to where the other stuff is at or whatever. So there still is a factor of be careful, what your history piece. So that's awesome, man. You're stacking a library up here, dude, and it's your resume is way impressive, man. That's
I wish I could do some more national terms. I'd love to do as many Bassmasters as I could and try to get into the championship that way, so that I don't have to rely on, beating out the hammers we have here in a one-day shootout at Pueblo or Horseshoe to try to get to the championship. You know, that's not
Right.
easy. I'm not counting on that happening every year. You know what I
No.
mean? So
You
it,
know,
it'd be
I
nice
was
to have another avenue to get there, but we're so far from everything. You
yeah.
know, like Steve O was asking me, "You gonna make down to Gunnersville?" It's like, "Ugh, dude, I don't, man. I don't know. That's a haul. You know?
Oh man. So I did Gunnersville. I've done two that are out that way, Pickwick and Gunnersville. And both of those are closing that 20-21 hour drive. So
Yeah. See,
it's
just
those are two very long days on the
yeah,
road,
yeah,
10-11 hours a day. And then you got to settle in and go fishing, and
yeah.
try to have an uncloudy head. It's like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
hard for
I
us.
mean, even they're coming back to Texas in October to Caddo, but that's far eastern Texas, Louisiana. So that's still 15, 16 hours for us, So man, I would love to do some more, but just nobody really comes out far enough this way. Or I guess I should say I'm not always willing to make that many long runs in a year.
I think it's got to be part of, I mean, in all honesty, it's got to be part of a chain, right? So I went to Gunnersville, then I stopped a little bit further in Alabama, then I went over to Texas from there. I was on the road for almost 3.5 weeks, and that sucked, being away. You and I are same age, brother, and it's like I'm not, chasing something anymore. I'm doing this because I love it and it's
Yeah,
fun. And so to be on the road that much and away from home, it's like I'm not in that stage of my life anymore where I love my wife. I love my home, It's like I
yeah,
don't want to be away from her that, constantly. It's like,
yeah. I mean, I'm just doing it for the experience. That's the only reason I go out to these things. I'm 51 years old, a 51-year-old mid-level kayak angler out of Colorado. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna make a living off this. It's never gonna,
right.
it's never gonna turn into anything. It's too late for me on that front. So I don't go out to these things for fame and fortune. That's
Right.
not gonna happen. I do it for the experience. I would do it to go to new lakes that I normally wouldn't have necessarily gone to, and to meet new people. And so that's the only reason I really do these things.
And it's got to feel cool, man, at 51, putting your skills against some just, straight killers out
Yeah,
there, especially at Bassmaster. I mean, that
yeah.
is, in my personal opinion, my biased, perhaps personal opinion, it's the most competitive field that's out there right now is the Bassmaster ranks.
I would say so. I feel like they sort of taken over for Hobie as the premier
Yeah.
destination.
I mean, Hobie boasts an amazing line. I'm
Oh yeah,
no question about it, but
no shade at Hobie at all. But yeah,
right. And now, I mean, you look at, they just, 170, 160, whatever it was, anglers they just put up for that. I mean,
yeah,
they're getting the numbers, they're getting the quality anglers coming
yeah.
in, and so that's got to feel good, brother. When you're shining above that, I mean, you're in the top 10%, man. That
It
feels
was
good.
it was pretty cool. I was surprised, honestly.
So, did you get a big fat check that means you can fish the classic now?
We'll
It wasn't that fat.
It wasn't that fat. It covered my entry fee and my lodging. Didn't cover food and gas, but
That's
I,
still
I,
that's still better than a sharp stick in the eye, huh?
yeah, no, I told Arledge I'd let him know by the end of the week because he got a place already, and he said there's a room for you if you want it. I said, man, I'm still, oh man, I got to decide if I want to make another long run in what 3 weeks. What are
Yeah,
we looking at? I don't even know. So
yeah, 2 weeks, two and
two
a half,
weeks. Oh geez,
because it's the 15th right now. So, well, two. I guess it's closer to a full three because we're just right at the beginning now here. So
yeah.
it's May 3rd and 4th. Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
stoked,
I
dude, because
really want to, but
I get a chance to actually fish that one. So it's
yeah,
gonna be
that's
fun to get
awesome.
out with you guys. And
Yeah,
I'll let Josh and Tyler run that bad boy.
yeah.
But we'll have the wall on hand. That's going to be a ton of fun over there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I really want to make it. I'm not 100% yet.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Well, if anybody can understand the strain that kind of stuff can put on you, man, it's me.
Yeah,
Making these long runs, living on the road. I was fishing Minnesota for quite a while out of my boat, and then we decided I didn't just want to be, learning about Minnesota northern fisheries. So I started entering in the Ozark stuff and going down to Missouri down there, and that was 7-8 hours. Really a drop in the bucket compared to us now, what we got to run. But yeah, being a part-time truck driver is part of it, and so you
yeah,
gotta get out there. But it's that The Pickwick one, I fished 2-3 days in a haze because I pulled that one straight through like a dummy.
Yeah.
And it's like the Gunnersville one, I stopped, but still, you could feel it after you get off the road for 2 long days like that. You're not 100%, and
Yeah.
you need to be. It's that mental game, right?
That was me showing up at Possum Kingdom, being in a haze, showing up. The wind was blowing that day, so I went to a cove that I wasn't planning on fishing, just from my map study. It wasn't one that was even on my radar, but the wind was coming in from the north. It looked like it was the most protected from the north wind. So I said, all right, I'm just going to this cove. Showed up, started setting up. There's lightning flashing. It's raining, thunder. I'm still setting up because I'm in a haze. I'm like, I just drove this, like, I'm not losing a day. And I did come to my senses and sat in the van until the lightning stopped, but I was still ready to go.
Well, it's, and there's a real thing about sleep deprivation and decision making, right? I mean, those two things don't jive too well together.
Yeah.
So Buzz, my Team Nuke New buddy from Florida here, wants to know what you caught him on down there.
I caught him. I caught a couple on Wacky Rig Senko. I caught a couple on a freeloader on a jig head, just like I did 10 killer, which is crazy because it's just not my favorite way to fish. Spinning tackle, like a 21 incher and a 27.5 on spinning tackle. Talk about stressful, just pull and drag forever. It was I hate going down to Oklahoma and Texas and spinning fishing tackle. It just drives me nuts.
It feels like sacrilege, right?
It just drives me nuts. So I got a couple on the freeloader, and then my last one I got on a jackhammer. So finally got to get one on a bait caster. So
right,
that was the deal. Yeah, I got a couple in practice on the jackhammer too.
So what did practice look like for you? See, day one was a little rough, but what about day 2 for practice? I mean, how did practice set up?
Terrible, which was the theme for everybody I talked to, including Trev and Strawbridge, who went out with me from our local club. Nobody was doing well in practice. Where did I go? Okay, second day I went way up north into the river where I knew the water was going to be dirtier, which I generally like, but it was a lot dirtier than I wanted, or and I just didn't find. I think I finally got one small one at the end of the day, mostly just white bass all day.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I was not catching them. I know Strawbridge was he won't mind me saying this, I don't think, but he was ready to drive home before the tournament even started. That's how bad his practice went. He finally figured them out and got a few, but yeah, same with Trev. Trev, I think, did better than either of us in practice, but he still didn't. He wasn't lighting the world on fire either. He got a few each day, so which was more than we got.
Right.
So
I
practice is tough for sure.
I think all in all, Josh Deal put a little deal up there. If you look at the full, that place was fishing tough, dude. It was fishing because there's a lot of really good anglers that struggled on that body of water. So
Guillermo Gonzalez blanked.
Yeah,
he was, hands-on favorite to win the dang thing, and he blanked. That's insane. I don't know. I just don't. That's crazy. Yeah, but I'm not surprised though, because it was fishing that tough.
Mother Nature, man, she has a way of settling us back down. Just when we think we got things all figured out, she will set us right the hell down and let us know exactly that she's still in charge, and we can keep grabbing our gear, grabbing our money, doing what we want to do and throwing at her. And she might not. It's going to be, there's some of this stuff that is just out of our control for sure, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, it was a one day shootout because day one was canceled because the wind was so bad. So
exactly. We got our Minnesota connection here. Look at that. We got Florida to Minnesota. We got Missouri all in here. What's happening, Andrew? That's Andrew is a buddy I fished with up in Minnesota there on the Minnesota scene ABA circuit. We fished a couple times up there. A lot of good stuff. The two of us had a rough day in the boat. The fishing was not real great for us, but oh my God, I think both of us left the boat with tears and sore guts and laughing. I mean, it was like
Yeah.
reminding us why we were out there. At least we had a blast in the boat.
Yeah.
So super cool. He's sticking with us here. So practice sets up tough. Yeah, Jim, I could tell Jim was not I got a this lake sucks, out of him.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we got to get the Jordan Lee hat, man.
Yeah.
We got to get that for sure for him. But and so I threw my little old man 2 cents out there towards him. I mean, he's got more experience probably than 5 of us combined, but always good to hear it. When somebody chimes in, I was hoping he could. So that's cool to see that he found some.
Yeah.
Trev's story talking about how he can almost had that 5th one.
He had the 5th one.
Yeah.
He caught it literally at 245, which was lines out. And Bassmaster actually does 1 minute more than we do locally. So if our lines out is 245, pictures can be submitted 244 and 59 seconds. Oh, geez. They go 245 and 59 seconds. So you got an extra minute. So he caught it literally at 245. Nice. Scrambling to take the picture, broke a rod because the wind blew him into the trees while he's trying to take the picture. And it was timestamp 246. And he was in such a hurry that the tail was up off the board. So he's just like, it's a heartbreaker, man. And I can't even imagine because just that stress I felt for the last 2 hours, knowing I had a halfway decent bag with 4. And if I could just get that 5th, I'd be in really good shape. Just that stress of grinding for that 5th. If to have it denied like that, oh man, I feel for Chet, man. That sucks.
It's almost, that stress when you get that close and you're one cast away.
Yeah.
Is almost it's a worse experience to be in it. It's great to get out of it, but it's worse to be in it than it would be to say not have a great day whatsoever, right? Yeah. I mean, it's like at least there, it's like meh, but when you're that close.
If I had 1 fish or 2 or none, it'd be like, okay, whatever, whatever, it's a shot day. But to have 4 and to know that one more halfway decent one will not going to win it, but it'll put me in decent shape for a good showing. And
right.
Yeah, that was stressful, man. I was feeling it in my chest the whole time.
So one of the things I try to do is, there's a lot of podcasts out there that do this kind of stuff. Me well enough. I try to do things and ask questions that maybe are off the beaten path, just because I like showing the human side of what we do a little bit more, because it ties directly into, the TPO's mission. But here's a question for you. When you're out there, do you feel any kind of pressure to perform for somebody? Like somebody that, to make them proud type thing, that you want them to be, to take, in your joy or whatever. Do you ever feel that kind of pressure to go out and perform for beyond just yourself?
I wouldn't say pressure, but it is something I think about. On some level, my wife and my girls, even though they honestly don't care about fishing, but they are super supportive. When I do well, they're sending me awesome messages. So that feels cool. But honestly, a lot for the local club, for CKB and for CKFC, because we get so much support from our local clubs, online. When we go to these out of towners, you just feel the love coming from, they want to see someone from Colorado do well. We saw it with Kern and Arledge at the Classic last year. So you want to do well and, represent the home clubs, because since Colorado doesn't get a lot of or any love on the national scene.
Right.
So yeah.
I was actually kind of thinking about it. It's like, do we have a body of water here, bro, that could hold a national event? I know that KBF came here to Chatfield, but that really wasn't that big of a field.
You'd have to do a statewide Roadrunner.
Right. That'd be,
that's the only way. I don't know.
How big do you think we could get on Pueblo? I mean, how many anglers to still fish well on Pueblo? I mean, are we talking?
I don't see why we hit close to 60 with the local clubs, and it doesn't feel crowded, right? So
But does it fish well though? With that many people, or is it going to be the top 25 are going to get the juice and the rest are kind of table scrapping it?
I feel like we could get 75. 100 might be pushing it. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
I like your idea, statewide roadrunner, dude. I like
or
that.
just the I-25 corridor.
Right.
Pueblo to Horsetooth.
Pueblo to Horsetooth, jump in something.
Yeah. Trinidad. Let's throw Trinidad in there. Trinidad to Horsetooth.
Right.
Yeah, the I-25 Roadrunner. There we go.
And I don't know why, but Trinidad and Pueblo always mix in my brain. I mean, I know they're both way down south, but I felt like they kind of fished somewhat similar for me personally, the way I fish. So yeah. Well, I got out and got my Lowrance tested today, buddy. I got those things in. Yeah. Went out to Boyd.
Yeah.
And, had a real interesting conversation with one of the dock owners there.
Yeah, I heard.
Don't know what the heck's going on there.
But I thought you were joking at first. I thought you were just talking out your ass. And then you're like, oh, he's serious. I'm
glad I have that reputation. That's good. See, I'll keep you guessing, man.
I thought you were just, having fun because Boyd was so boring. It was like, oh no, he's serious. Okay.
No, it was legit. And so that's like spot number 2 now for me, because that area right around that homeowner's dock, not on the dock itself, but it's around it. There's multiple, target rich environments in there. And there's one specific hole that was referenced. We'll definitely, I'll be fishing that thing. I promise you, I'll be there Saturday.
All right.
But there's a legit cold front coming, man. And it's Colin said this in the chat. It's like, well, it's to mention like 3-4 nights leading up to Saturday, it's going to drop to the low 30s, high 20s a couple times, and it's going to stay that way at night. So this is a legit cold front that's about to hit. So it's going to make.
Is it too late to get our money back? Or
right? Are you fishing, Boyd?
I'm signed up. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm signed up. Yeah. I'm regretting it when I saw snow in the forecast, but I'm signed up.
The struggle bus will be launching at 6:15.
Man, I don't know. I might just donate my $60 to the. Oh man.
I might have I'm going to have a thermos with me, and when I feel it's warm enough, I'll launch.
Yeah. And I'm sleeping in the van too. I got a campsite at Boyd. So
I was going to stay with Collins up there Friday night, just so that I don't, I mean, it's only a 40 minute run from my house here, but I thought it'd be a lot easier. But now I'm second guessing that. I might still pay Collins the money and just stay here in my own bed.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm about an hour from Boyd, so it's doable. But then you're getting up at 2-3 in the morning just to get there in time to set up. So, I got a campsite thinking it would be nice, warm, cool spring camping, but oh man,
bring you long johns, man.
Because Boyd couldn't get any worse.
Right.
Snow at us.
Let's just screw the weather up.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that. So you've been, I mean, you're still in the big scheme of things, you're still relatively new to the tournament scene. I mean, in the big scheme of things, it doesn't look like it. And no one's going to believe that when they see, your results of how you compete. But you are, so how for your viewpoint, breaking down water here in Colorado, I mean, there's the obvious difference between this and say Possum Kingdom, the obvious things, the finesse game out here. But what have you noticed about the water, about the areas when you're breaking? Is there anything that stands out different, between these waters, or is it just different conditions and that's what it is?
You mean the waters within Colorado, or Colorado compared to Texas, Oklahoma type stuff?
Colorado compared to Texas, Oklahoma stuff. Like when you're going and breaking it down for the first time.
Not just bigger, honestly. Just for the lakes I've been to. I still haven't been to a ton of southeastern lakes, but kayak or 10 Killer and Possum Kingdom, honestly, where you could fish Colorado style out there. And a lot of the stuff I saw was, deeper, clear water, rocks, no grass. At least not that there was some grass at Possum Kingdom, but not a lot yet.
A lot more wood there, though.
A lot of wood. Yeah. That's probably the main thing is the submerged timber that they'll have in those places that we don't always have.
Right. And that's bass fishing is bass fishing, whether it's California or Massachusetts, right? And the bass will become acclimated to their environment, so they're going to do slightly different things. But at the end of the day, they're still fish.
Well, that's kind of my philosophy and why I don't rely on electronics and why maybe I do okay at these out of towners going in blind to lakes is because honestly, I just fish the obvious stuff. If you were to ask my secret, I fish the obvious stuff that they tell you to do in Bassmaster or any video you're going to watch. Just main lake points at this time of year. Look for pockets this time of year. I just fish the obvious stuff, and
sure,
it's worked out for me. I'm not searching around offshore looking for that magic rock pile. Out in the middle of nowhere. I don't have time for that. I don't have time to go pre-fishing for that type of stuff. So I just look for the obvious stuff and fish the hell out of it.
Right. That's awesome. It's one of the funny deals, man, is that after you do this a while, we're trying to find the stuff nobody else is, right? And inside our head, we know, like Colorado, I'm not going to find anything at Boyd
right
that somebody else hasn't already found.
Yeah.
We just have too good of anglers out here that pick the meat off the bone. So maybe something out in the middle of the deal out there, maybe if you got lucky, but a very small percentage chance. But it still doesn't take away that we're still looking for that stuff that maybe somebody else isn't. So when we see a main lake pointer, when we see a set of docks or whatever, no, I don't want to do that because everybody else is going to do that. So I want to go over and do this. And that's usually where the trouble begins, right? Yeah. I mean, that's what gets you in a lot of trouble. It's a matter of the question needs to come down. Will you get there before the other 35 anglers are going to get there?
Yeah. And that's the other thing I do is I'm not somebody that switches a lot of baits, switches spots constantly. If I know, or at least if I think, you never know, but without live scope, I guess, if I've caught fish in the area and I've caught them on this bait, why wouldn't I just keep doing that?
Right.
I already know this bait looks like something they're going to eat. So I'm just going to run with it. I'll switch. I don't throw the same thing all day, but once I get confidence in 2-3 baits, I just run with it. I'm not trying 100 different things throughout the day, just trying to figure out, okay, well, this is going to work. If that didn't work, they're eventually, if I get it in front of them, they're eventually going to eat it. So.
Right. Edwin Evers once gave me a sound piece of advice. And he said this: you can throw the wrong bait in the right place and catch fish. But if you throw the right bait in the wrong place, no guarantees.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there going, bro, that is like some super deep fishing philosophy action that he's putting on there. So it boils down to, you gotta find them, man. That's the key. Find where they're at. And it's less important about what you're throwing, per se, other than presentation. Sometimes they want to chase, sometimes they don't, or whatever. But no,
that's what I did at Possum Kingdom, actually, because my spot that I found on the last day of practice was small. It was 2 small stretches in the back of this cove. I even told Strawbridge and Trev, I said, if more than 1 or 2 guys show up there, I'm shot. It's not a big enough place to handle that many. I said, if I can get it to myself, I can for sure get a limit back there at least. And when we launched, one kid he said, "You going to the back of the cove?" Or no, he said, "You going straight across?" I said, "Yeah." He said, And I said, "You going into the cove too?" He's like, "Yep." I was like, "All right, I guess we're racing." But he peeled off to the left when we got in the cove, and I went all the way back. So I had it to myself. So
nice.
But it was a struggle. I got too early, but rather than, and then I went a couple hours with nothing. But rather than getting spun up and saying, "All right, this spot's dead, I'm going to go find something else," I said, "You know what? No, I'm just going to, I know there's more than 2 fish here. I know it for a fact. They're just not biting yet, or I'm not putting it in front of them yet." So even though I've gone down this stretch back and forth 20 times, I'm staying with it the rest of the day, and I know I'm going to get 5 here, and I did. It took me all day. I got number 5 with 7 minutes left, but
So you had 4 fish coming up. I thought you actually culled a fish out. So you had 4 fish with 7 minutes to go, and you're still throwing haymakers.
Still on the same stretch. At one point, I went across to the other side of the cove where I didn't really fish in practice, but I said, "All right, I gotta look at something." But and then I started thinking, well, shoot, should I go main lake? Should I go check this? And then finally I said, no, my best chance is just to stay on this stretch, because I know there's more fish here. I've seen a couple followers that didn't bite, so I'm going to get number 5 here. And
that's awesome.
It took down to the wire, but I got it.
Dude, that is sound mental affinity right there is what that is, brother. You were just sticking with us. Now, it's like that 4th and inches call, though, right? Because if you didn't get it, some joker out there is going to be like, "Well, you should have got up and moved, man. You should have got out of there."
Yeah.
There's always going to be an armchair quarterback, this and this, but
yeah.
It wasn't them. It was you. You were there. You made the call. I've been burnt by that call more than I've been successful with that call, but I'm still going to make that call. I'm still going to, trust the gut and the instinct when it tells me to.
Yeah. I'm not going to say that's a strategy that works 100% of the time. We all know it doesn't, but generally that's kind of my philosophy. Is if I know a spot's still got them, I'm just gonna stick with it and grind it out.
You had nothing that told you otherwise.
Yeah.
So perfect. Well, listen, man, that is freaking awesome. 7 minutes to go. You get your 5th fish. You gotta be like juiced, right? You had to be jacked.
Yeah.
What was because Steve Owens had gone on with his last update right when the scoreboard went dark, and he had said that they were talking about they were going to be trying to go live at about 5 p.m. Central, but it was like an hour after that before we actually saw. Was there?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. I don't know. I didn't realize there was any sort of delay. No,
because it was like 5 our time here. And we were just then getting the results starting to come through, because nothing showed up on Facebook Live. At least I wasn't seeing it, going up there, and people were still looking at the Turn EX leaderboard, and it was still dark.
Oh, that's weird. I know. I didn't realize that happened. No, wait. As far as I know, they went live at 5 Central. I know it was on the YouTube page. Maybe it just wasn't on the Facebook page.
That could be.
I don't know. Yeah.
And they didn't put the leaderboard back up right away. So, well, cool.
Yeah. Because when I got to the ramp, I talked to a couple guys. They said, "Yeah, gave them the whole thing. Oh, I got number 5 right at the end there. I had 84 something, I forget, and a couple of guys were like, "Oh man, you're right outside the money." They're like, everybody's saying it's going to be 87 to be in the money. So I was like, all right, whatever. That's still, I'm just happy I got number 5. That's that'll put me in the top 30. I'm cool with that. Then I got the text from Steve-O saying, "Hey, show up at awards. You're in the money." I was like, "Are you kidding me?" He was like, "Holy." So I thought for sure I was 17th. I was like, all right, well, I'm last. I'll take it. But it's actually a tie. I tied. Me and the guy who got 17th tied, but I had, I guess I had a bigger fish. So I got 16th, beat him on the tiebreaker.
That's awesome, man. Isn't that the first fish? There's okay, we got the first one. The 5th fish is the next who is like, oh yeah. And then that first cull, right? It's
Yeah.
like each one of those is like this just
Yeah.
emotion that hits. It's like, there we go. Yes.
I've never had one like that, a release like that. Because I like last year CKFC at Red Willow, I had a last minute. I caught one with I think 9 minutes left. I caught number 5, and that was similar. You know, you're just grinding, just come on, just give me number 5. And that one I thought if I got number 5, I would win. I ended up getting second, but still. But this was like a whole different level. Like the stress I was feeling, and just like, oh, come on, just give me this, please. Come on, just give me number 5. And I know it's here. I know it's here. I just,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, seriously, you know what? Just don't ever change, brother. Just keep being Matt Flanagan. Keep doing what you're doing. Chen said it best. I think we're all going to start changing our name to Matt. Because between Arledge, Flanagan, and Collins, you guys have been racking up a lot of trophies and such. And so there's
And
something
Kern with 4th at the Classic. Don't forget Kern.
That's right, Matt Kern. Yep. Put it up there. So there's something about this Matt name, you know,
Yep.
that's going on. So I think we're all going to have T-shirts that says Matt, you know, on there sooner or later.
And then hashtag FBL on the back.
That's exactly. Oh my goodness, yes. No, we'll see, man. It's gonna. I like the challenge that Boyd's given us that we're gonna be seeing on Saturday. I like that challenge a lot. I know the weather's going to knock out a lot of guys that aren't going to want a piece of it. Others aren't going to be able to operate real great in it because this sport pushes you like that. And I like that. I actually prefer that. What I don't prefer, what I'll make sure of is that my line is not freezing on my fishing pole a la Chatfield of last year.
Yep.
I'm not doing that again. I'll sit drinking hot cocoa in the pickup.
I'm not wearing my boundary boots again. I can tell you that. I'm putting my ice fishing boots on this time because my feet were frozen at Chatfield last year. So if we're gonna be in snow, then I'm not wearing the boundary boots this time.
I hear you. And there's Mr. Strawbridge himself.
He's still out in Texas. He took it easy. He didn't hit the road right away like me and Trev.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he's still hanging out at PK.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's you getting any redemption on him there, Jim, or are you just hanging out? And
he said I think he was done with PK. He said no, he just wanted to rest today before he gets.
I was going to say my big concern is making sure that back of his is doing okay. So
I think it was supposed to be blowing wind again today anyway. So
our man brother Nick says wool socks into the NRS boots for the win.
I think that's what I did last year, and it's still no. You know what? I didn't even have my boundary boots on. Actually, I had waders with the neoprene feet and then waterproof boots over those, but that was not the deal. So
I had the boundary boots on with waterproof socks, and I still pulled off the lake for about 30 minutes so I could go put my feet under the heater there because my toes were freezing.
Yeah, mine were frozen. Yeah.
And James says had cross on. I don't know what that means, but I need to bust out my Strawbridge to English.
Crocs. I bet he meant
Crocs.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, had Crocs on. No, I don't think anybody was wearing Crocs at Chatfield last year.
At PB, PK. It was Crocs weather. Finally, first couple days were kind of chilly, but game day it was Crocs weather. Finally.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing that I want to wrap up here with is a 1 day shootout, man. That's another talk about a massive twist because you've got this built in your head. You've worked out your strategies. You practice up to that point for a 2 day maneuver. You got to make sure you got enough groceries to handle 2 days. And then weather comes in and says, nope. And you got to reset everything to go 1 day.
Yeah.
I mean, against that crowd, that changes stuff up on a major level, dude. That
it does. And honestly, I think it worked in my favor because my A spot was so small. I did have a B spot. I knew on day 2 I was going to go to a different cove, but I hadn't actually fished it in practice. But it was close enough to my A spot cove, same general area. The watercolor looked about the same. Wasn't crystal clear like the south end of the lake. Wasn't super dirty like the top. It was what I like, just kind of a good stain to it. So I did have a plan for day 2, but I wasn't super confident in it. So the day one, or the 1 day deal, kind of worked in my favor.
That's
Since
awesome.
my spot was so small. So
Well, and and again, it's just a matter of finding ways to make this stuff work, right?
yeah,
You do what you need to do there. Well, listen, man, I can't thank you enough for stopping in here. And I know you've been on the road, you've been traveling, and so for you to cut time out of your day, man, to hang out with us, super super cool.
and
And
I'll come on anytime and talk fishing with you. I love it.
that's awesome stuff, folks. I want to remind you, Battleborn Tackle at Battleborn Tackle. And battleborntackle.com. They are the official podcast sponsor. If you mention to them when you're checking out there, use TPO 2024 and you're going to get yourself 10% off. Plus, it also lets Battleborn know that you saw the information coming from our podcast, and that's a big help and support for everybody all the way around. So TPO 2024, take 10% off. Small business, veteran-owned small business, prices as good as any place else out there, and his inventory just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and more selection. So the more you order from him, the more cool stuff he's going to be able to put out there. So check him out first if you get a chance at battleborntackle.com. All right, brother. Listen, man, this is going to wrap it up. Let's go ahead and do this. I need to go get something to eat.
All right, man.
First time in 3 years that the TPO podcast did not go off on schedule. First time.
Jeez.
Yeah. That's today's a measured mark there. We had some power issues messing with us here, and I'm not sure what. Hopefully that I'll be so glad to get out of construction.
Yeah.
It's like every time they're building something around there, they hit something, they knock out one section of lines or whatever, and brand new subdivision goes dark.
They're always building somewhere in Colorado because we're running out of space. So, yeah.
That's the 2 seasons, right? It's like we have, I think, summer, or no, we have winter and construction. That's pretty much it. That's all we get. Well, awesome stuff. Listen, folks, make sure and smash that subscribe button. That is a massive, massive help for us there. Check out all the great organizations that we work with, Paddle and Fin, All-American Kayak Series. Get to the Classic. If you're qualified out there, folks, get to the Classic. If you got any questions about that place out there, hit me up, DM me. We want to see you there. That's going to be a blast. Lots of money on the line there. And let's see if we can get a scratch ticket in your hands to help you out, Flanagan. And we'll see if we can put the whole thing there. You got a room. Looks like you got lodging covered there.
Yep. I got lodging. So
I got at least one burger for you. I'm good for that.
I know. So I'm thinking hard on it for sure.
Awesome. Well, listen, brother, I will see you then probably closer come Friday range, because I have a feeling with the weather going crappy like that, we're probably going to go into town and grab something to eat more than we're going to do anything on Friday night. So
hit me up. Let me know what the plan is for Friday night, because I'll be heading up there after work. So
sounds good.
I'm not going to pre-fish at all because why bother? So
right. It's Boyd. Awesome.
Yeah.
Folks watching live, thank you so much. Folks watching this on recorded, thank you so very much. Make sure to hit those likes and subscribes. Tight lines, folks. We'll see you next Monday. Be safe.